Are you homophobic?
When I'm sitting here telling you that I'm a Christian,
Well,
I'm
I think the
offended
sensitivities
by
of
what you're
people
saying,
who
and
are
you
working on my
laugh.
show,
You
I think
mock
that's
Christian
very, very
persecution.
Asani Williams.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Asani Williams. Welcome and welcome if you're new here. Please consider subscribing and liking the video. So, Candace Owens recently sat down with Don Lemon and had an hour-long conversation. And certain parts of this conversation got really, really spicy. So let's get into it.
about same-sex marriage.
It's a sin.
You think it's a sin? So you think I'm
It is a
sinful?
sin. What's that?
You think I'm sinful because I'm married to a man?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes, you're sinning. You are in a sinful relationship. I actually don't believe marriage can be.
Now, one of the things I really appreciate about Candace Owens is she is not afraid to speak her mind. I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with her, a lot of criticism, but one thing you cannot say is she is not afraid to say what she feels is the truth, and that is a commendable characteristic.
Be between two men. So I don't.
But
believe
you
that you're
understand, though, Candace, and maybe we're not going to agree on this now. I thought we would. Do you understand, though, that the same Bible verses and the same scriptures that are used to call same-sex marriage sinful are used to call interracial marriage sinful as well? And so there are people who would say that you are in a sinful marriage.
Can you tell me which verse it is that would make people say?
The thing is that it's actually not there, and that people twist the Bible verses. That's my whole point. Thank you for proving that, because it doesn't say that, and it's actually, you're going to say Leviticus or whatever. That's not actually what Leviticus says. But go on. I don't want to get into specifics about the Bible, but that's not what the Bible says. It's just people using and interpreting Scripture in a way that they want to interpret it. So
there are no verses in the Bible that indicate that two people of different races can't be together. There's nothing that alludes to that. He's just making that up. He's just saying that. On the other hand, there are clear verses in the Bible that condemn same-sex relations. He's the one actually twisting the whole entire narrative by comparing it to relations between different races.
Marriage, because you are in an interracial marriage. And I say that as someone who is in an interracial marriage, so I am doubly sinful.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody make a biblical argument against people being married that are black and white. So that's why I said, can you just tell me what verse that was? Sodomy is obviously a sin, but I've never heard a biblical argument. I'm happy to learn. I honestly, I'm happy to learn.
Sodomy is not just for gay sex, right? You know that, right? Sodomy is.
Yeah, it's a sin always, by the way.
Yeah, it's a sin between, it can be a sin between heterosexuals as well.
Yes, that's correct.
So, okay, but you've never heard that interracial marriage was sinful?
I've never heard somebody make a biblical argument for interracial. I've never, and that's why I'm saying if you could present that to me, and if maybe you're familiar with what verse that was.
Yeah, but actually it's not a biblical argument. It's also a religious argument as well, more so than anything, that you're in a sinful marriage and that black and white people should not be married.
I mean, I'm obviously very aware that people could think that ideologically, but I've never heard that biblical argument made ever in my life. And I'm happy to be proven wrong here, but I think you made that up on the spot there.
So by saying that, no, I didn't actually, but by saying that you believe that I'm in a sinful marriage, does that mean, though, that I should be discriminated against?
No, I've never called for discrimination.
So you believe in the separation of church and state, then?
Heterosexual couples can sin as well. I mean, I hope that you deal with that. I want you to be Christian and to understand why it is that sodomy is a sin and what else it yields in society. I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you believe that I should be discriminated against. I don't
believe
I should be able to have, under the Constitution, you believe that I have the same rights as you and other heterosexuals, and that my marriage is just as valid under the Constitution as anybody else's, including.
Well, I believe that the problem became that.
You notice how quick he got off the Bible argument, because he knew he had no basis to argue that at all. So he just quickly got off that. She asked him for the verse. She really wanted to know, what was the verse that you read or you heard of that mentioned that two people of different races can't be married. And he skirted around that. Now he's on the whole should gay marriages be recognized in the state, which is completely off of the topic that he started in the first place.
That gets into a deeper theological discussion, but like the government should have never taken marriage away from the church. It should have been something that was maintained as a church practice. And so a lot of things happened there when the government took over and began marrying people, because then the arguments became, well, you get a tax break if you're married, and that is a way longer discussion that we can have on a different day. But to answer your question, I would never want any person based on their sins to ever be discriminated against, ever. I mean, I don't believe in discrimination. I don't believe that people should be treated differently. I have mental illness and people should seek help, but I don't believe that they should be discriminated against. I would never be okay with that. Okay. I mean, I have people that are, gay and lesbians in my life. I have cousins who are lesbians. So it's not, I don't have hatred in my heart.
You have Jewish friends? You have gay friends?
I'm trying to be funny.
Do you have gay friends?
If you watch this whole entire interview, Don Lemon is very condescending throughout the whole entire interview. And it's obvious that he really doesn't like her or doesn't like her politics. So it's a very biased interview. The questions are very biased. It's very leading questions. And I suggest you go and watch the whole entire thing just to see for yourself.
Friends, I want to know.
Yes, I actually don't have, like, I really kind of feel like I only hang out with my family right now. So I'm a little, I've got 3 kids under 3, so I don't really have friends right now, but yeah, sure.
No, seriously, you don't have gay friends?
Well, I have gay people in my family. So that's the extent of my friendships with gay people.
Are you homophobic? No, seriously, I want to know.
You're such an absurd
I thought you would say,
being.
of course I have gay friends.
You're just such an absurd being. First off, the person that you're just an absurd human being. Are you homophobic? Oh my God. I'm just like, what does homophobia actually mean? Can you give me a definition of homophobia? If I was homophobic, would I be doing like this show? Do you think I'm like scared? Like I'm like, oh my God, look, there's a gay man. I'm so scared. It's Don Lemon.
Not at all.
To have a phobia is like to have a phobia, a fear of, like, you think I fear like 2 gay men that are walking down the street holding hands, like, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so scared. I don't fear anything but God. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think God is to be feared, but anyways, I'm just surprised that you don't have any gay friends, because that, I just am.
And also, for those of you who don't know, apparently Don Lemon is a Christian, and if you listen to this whole entire interview, it will come into question whether or not he's a Christian, besides the fact that he's a practicing homosexual. Besides that. So another section of this whole entire interview I want to show you is another section where they talk about the persecution of Christians. And I want to show you how Don Lemon absolutely dismisses the idea that Christians are being persecuted. Watch this.
About the mass killing of Christians all around the world. What you just said, like, why can't we just let it be about the Holocaust? What is that? Well, that's like the most selfish thing in the entire world. Let me finish. The most selfish thing in the entire world is for me to spend an hour talking about the atrocities that innocent Christians who had nothing to do with Adolf Hitler faced, and then to have Zionist media talking heads somehow make it about the Holocaust. It's not about the Holocaust, okay? Christians suffered too. In fact, we are the most persecuted religion in the world. And I am so sick of it. I am so sick of there can only be one victim narrative.
And
if you start talking about
and we are not the most persecuted in the world. Come on.
That is a fact. What are you saying? We're not the most persecuted in the world. Do you know what's happening in Armenia? Do you know what's happening in Nigeria? Do you know what just happened in Canada? The fake story that was propagated by all of the mainstream networks about the nuns, and they found the mass burial, which allowed 85 Catholic churches to be burned to the ground in the last 3 years in Canada. We are still being persecuted right now. Okay. So I take great offense to you coming in here about the sensitivities of the people that are working on your show when I'm sitting here telling you that I'm a Christian and I'm offended by what you're saying, and you laugh. You mock Christian persecution. Do you think people to laugh when someone tells you about Christian persecution? Because let me tell you something. If I had done that, I had laughed about the Holocaust, I don't think it's funny. I would be chased out of polite society. Then don't laugh. Don't laugh at Christian persecution. Don't do it.
Laughable is mean that the name is in the term. It's laughable.
Do not laugh. You literally just laughed when I talked about Christian persecution. Don't do that ever again. Not in my presence.
What you're saying is, okay, Candace, thank you. So what you're saying is,
Don Lemon thinks that Christians aren't the most persecuted religious group in the world. Watch this. This is a simple Google search. Look at this. According to a 2018 Pew Research Center study, Christianity and Islam are the religions that face the most persecution in the world, with Christianity facing harassment in 145 countries, Muslims 139, and Jews in 88. So, just a simple Google search. Christians facing harassment in 145 countries. So, Christianity is the most persecuted religion in the world. There's no argument about it. And over here they have charts. So Don Lemon just laughed at the idea that Christians are being persecuted, and then he calls himself a Christian.
Oh, you know what? The Holocaust was bad, but look over here. These people were worse than the Holocaust, so we shouldn't.
That's not that. First off,
That's
first
what it
and
sounds
foremost,
like. I'm telling you, that's what it sounds like.
you just said you didn't watch the episode.
No, but I'm saying that's what it sounds like. That's what you're saying. I don't have to watch the episode. I was listening to the words that you just said. You just spent 3 or 4 minutes talking about the other atrocities and how bad they were.
Yes, the other atrocities that have happened in human history outside of the Holocaust are things that we are relevant and allowed to talk about, especially when the numbers of Christians that were persecuted following the Russian Revolution and the manner in which they were killed, people that were beheaded, priests that were shot. Yes, it is. I can talk about Christian history, and I don't need to feel guilty about that, and I won't.
That's
okay.
fine. All right, good. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to.
And please, genuinely. Please,
yeah. Okay,
never,
so
please, when I come on your show, have enough respect not to laugh when I talk about Christian persecution, because you would never do that if I was Jewish and I was talking about the Holocaust.
You can't tell me.
You would never do that.
You should have enough respect.
And how true is that? What other religious group would he laugh at stating how persecuted they are? Would he do that with a Muslim? Would he do that with a Jew? Of course not. But with a Christian, he feels okay doing that because he doesn't actually respect Christians, and he's not actually a Christian. That's what it boils down to.
Respect to know not to tell people how to react. You can't tell someone not to laugh.
Okay. Well, then I double dare you when a Jewish person is talking about persecution of Jews to laugh. You won't do it.
I won't do it because I actually believe that there were persecution of Jews, and
you don't believe that Christians were persecuted.
My thought. I believe that there is persecution of Christians. I don't think it's the most persecuted religion in the world. Okay, so listen.
It is. He's just wrong. He's flat out just wrong.
So listen. Consider. Okay, laughable. Good. You agree with me. Thank you. So listen. When you know what happened with you was a Daily Wire, right? Is that the network you're on?
So those are the sections that I really wanted to highlight. To me, those were probably the most outrageous moments in this whole entire interview. But I suggest you go and you watch this full interview for yourself to see all the tactics that Don Lemon tries to pull to trip her up, to get her to say something that he can clip out of context. But it doesn't work. He just ends up making himself look ridiculous. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Am I crazy? Am I off base? Or do you agree with Don Lemon and what he's saying? Or do you agree with Candace? Or you disagree with them? You disagree with me? Let me know. Till next time, God bless.